Henyard says she is endorsing a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet. Instead, promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the FBI.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and...
If you're in Dolton, Illinois, and considering attending a re-election party for Mayor Tiffany Henyard, be ready to part with a significant sum of money. The entrance fee alone is $50. This sets the tone for an event that only becomes more costly as the evening progresses. While some might view this as a bold fundraising initiative, the backdrop of controversies surrounding Henyard's time in office raises questions about whether this is a calculated political maneuver or a desperate attempt to address financial shortfalls. Mayor Henyard's tenure has been anything but uneventful. Accusations of mismanagement, voter suppression, and questionable appointments have left Dolton deeply divided. Against this contentious backdrop, the high price tag for her re-election party has sparked conversations not only about campaign financing, but also about the state of leadership and priorities in the village. Critics argue that asking supporters to pay such a steep entry fee reeks of desperation, particularly as allegations of financial misconduct within her administration continue to cloud her leadership. Questions about the mayor's fiscal responsibility have been at the forefront of local debates, with residents expressing concerns that taxpayer money has been misused or misallocated during her time in office. Many skeptics view this event as a distraction, suggesting the funds raised may be less about fueling a campaign and more about covering unaccounted-for financial gaps left by her administration. Supporters, however, offer a different perspective, defending the entrance fee as a demonstration of Henyard's strength and commitment to leadership despite ongoing controversies. They argue that the mayor's ability to rally both financial and public support is a testament to her staying power and political savvy, even as her administration faces intensified scrutiny. Nonetheless, the decision to attach such a premium to what is typically a community-focused event adds a layer of exclusivity that risks alienating some constituents while galvanizing others. The broader implications of this move point to Dolton's underlying political divides, where access and loyalty to leadership often intersect with socioeconomic realities. For a town grappling with issues such as rising crime and governance instability, paying $50 simply to show support for a leader embroiled in ongoing disputes seems like a heavy burden for many residents. Adding to the controversy is the narrative Henyard has carefully cultivated, a tenacious yet polarizing figure who portrays herself as a victim of political attacks while dismissing her critics as detractors driven by envy or ambition. The re-election party, with its steep price of entry, fits neatly into this narrative, doubling as both a display of her self-proclaimed resilience and a gamble on the loyalty of her supporters. Whether her base sees this as a bold statement of defiance or an out-of-touch gesture remains to be seen. The growing divide between Henyard's supporters and detractors highlights deeper concerns within Dolton about the direction of its leadership and the prioritization of community welfare over political theatrics. In a town already struggling with trust issues and governance challenges, events like this raise critical questions about the role of fundraising in modern-day politics, especially in smaller municipalities where resources are often limited. Critics argue that such events risk worsening existing divisions by turning an already contentious political landscape into a spectacle. With ongoing debates about Henyard's record, including allegations of backdoor dealings, poor departmental appointments, and divisive leadership styles, her re-election bid appears to be as much about cementing her legacy as it is about regaining public trust. Trust, however, remains in question. By framing her campaign around high-profile events like this, Henyard reinforces her image as a figure who thrives on conflict and spectacle. But whether such tactics serve Dolton's long-term interests is a question its residents must grapple with. Ultimately, the re-election party reflects more than just the price of political loyalty. It encapsulates a broader commentary on how much the people of Dolton are willing or able to invest in their leadership. While some may view the steep fee as a symbol of strength, others see it as yet another chapter in an administration defined by high-stakes decisions, rising tensions, and unresolved controversies. As the night unfolds and money changes hands, one thing becomes clear. For better or worse, Henyard's leadership continues to dominate the conversation in Dolton, leaving many to wonder whether this latest move will solidify her support or expose the vulnerabilities of a polarizing figure at the center of a community searching for unity and stability.
Until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy.
Since assuming office in 2021 as the mayor of Dolton, a modest town of approximately 20,000 residents located just south of Chicago, Tiffany Henyard's tenure has unfolded like a high-stakes political drama. Her time in office has been marked by controversy, accusations, and intrigue that could rival any primetime television show. Criticism of her leadership style has been unrelenting, with allegations of financial mismanagement, corruption, abuse of authority, and the use of the local police force to intimidate political opponents forming the core of grievances against her administration. Her detractors, which include both rivals and former allies, allege a consistent pattern of misusing public funds, engaging in wasteful expenditures, and redirecting town revenues to serve private interests. This cloud of controversy has further destabilized a town already grappling with significant financial challenges, leaving Dolton more vulnerable and raising serious doubts about Henyard's ability to prioritize the needs of her constituents as a public servant. Accusations of directing resources toward personal ventures or engaging in questionable financial dealings have deepened frustrations among residents, who perceive her actions as disconnected from their communal struggles and as exacerbating the town's decline. The perception that her administration prioritizes self-serving interests over public welfare has left citizens and town officials questioning whether she is genuinely working for the betterment of Dolton or merely leveraging her position for personal gain. Critics point to her alleged financial practices and perceived disregard for transparency, arguing that these actions have worsened the town's problems rather than addressing its critical needs. As unrest grows, even some of Henyard's former allies have joined the chorus of disapproval, voicing concerns over what they view as an administration that prioritizes personal ambition over public service. This sentiment has only fueled local discontent, with residents openly questioning her capacity to lead and expressing doubts about her intentions to seek re-election. Despite the growing opposition, Henyard remains undeterred, forging ahead with plans for a re-election campaign. Some interpret this move as a bold display of defiance, while others view it as audacity in the face of mounting criticism. This determination was recently underscored by the announcement of a re-election launch party, which many see as an attempt to signal her unwavering confidence in overcoming the controversies surrounding her tenure. However, for many Dolton residents, this move comes across as tone-deaf and disconnected from the pressing challenges faced by the community. Public frustration has intensified as residents grapple with stagnant progress and a growing sense of neglect from an administration they feel has become more focused on political theatrics than on addressing the urgent issues confronting their town. Under Henyard's leadership, Dolton has experienced significant unrest, with many residents viewing her tenure as a flashpoint that has magnified the town's struggles rather than alleviating them. Allegations of mismanagement and divisive leadership have positioned her as a polarizing figure, drawing both staunch defenders and fervent critics into an increasingly bitter debate over her legacy. While her supporters praise her resilience and determination in navigating political turmoil, her detractors argue that her boldness reflects dismissiveness rather than courage, as she appears to brush off criticisms and concerns raised by the public and her peers. Her actions have shaped a political landscape fraught with contention, forcing Dolton to confront challenging questions about the direction of its governance and the accountability of its leaders. Her decision to proceed with a re-election campaign has underscored these tensions, with critics viewing it as a symptom of an administration unwilling to address its shortcomings, while supporters see it as evidence of her steadfast resolve to persevere despite adversity. The stakes surrounding Henyard's re-election campaign are extraordinarily high, as Dolton finds itself at a crossroads, where the outcome could shape the town's future for years to come. For her supporters, her continued push for leadership represents an opportunity for stability and a reaffirmation of the bold vision she claims to champion. For her detractors, however, the re-election bid is seen as a critical juncture, a chance to hold her accountable for what they view as failed leadership or risk further entrenching the town in dysfunction and division. As these competing narratives clash, a sense of uncertainty looms over Dolton, leaving residents to grapple with the pressing question of whether the town can find unity and stability or whether the fractures within its leadership will continue to deepen.